In this section, we'll be dealing with changing ratios. For example, if the ratio of two quantities is x to y, and the ratio is doubled, what is the new ratio? When a ratio is doubled, write the ratio as a fraction and multiply it by 2. If the ratio is tripled, write it as a fraction multiplied by 3, and so on. If the ratio is halved, write the ratio as a fraction and then multiply it by 1/2. For example, if the ratio of apples to bananas in a certain fruit salad is 3:2, and the chef decides to triple the ratio, what will the new ratio be? So the original ratio is 3 apples to 2 bananas. If we triple the ratio, there are now going to be 9 apples for 2 bananas. It's important that when you're tripling a ratio, you're changing one of the parts. Specifically, you're changing the numerator. So the new ratio here is 9:2. You don't have to do this pictorial. You can also do it algebraically. So if the ratio of apples to bananas is 3:2, you write that as a fraction, 3/2, and then you multiply it by 3/1 if you're going to triple the ratio. 3/2 times 3/1 gives you 9/2, and so the new ratio of apples to bananas after the ratio has been tripled is 9:2. Or, let's look at another example. If the ratio of sneakers to sandals in a certain shoe store is 5:3, and that ratio is halved, what is the new ratio? What this tells us is that for every 5 sneakers, there are 3 sandals. If we were to halve the ratio, there would be 6 sandals for every 5 sneakers. So the new ratio would be 5:6. Algebraically, we could write that as the ratio of sneakers to sandals is 5:3. So if we write it as a fraction, we know we're going to halve the ratio. We have to multiply this ratio by 1/2. And 5/3 times 1/2 is 5/6. So once again, the new ratio of sneakers to sandals is 5/6. And finally, if the ratio of x to y is 6:7, what is the ratio of x plus 4 to y plus 4? We can set up a table to see what results we would get here. So if x is 6, for example, then y would have to be 7, because those are two numbers that have a ratio of 6:7. If x is 6, then x plus 4 is 10, y plus 4 is 11, and so the ratio of x plus 4 to y plus 4 is 10:11. But suppose that x is 6. In that case, y would be 14, because 12 to 14 is the same ratio as 6:7. All we did was we took 6/7, multiplied the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. So we didn't change the ratio, since we changed both the top and the bottom by the same amount. But in this case, if x is 12, then x plus 4 is 16, and if y is 14, then y plus 4 is 18. So the ratio of x plus 4 to y plus 4 in this case is 16 to 18, or 8 to 9. 8 to 9 is not the same as 10 to 11. So these two ratios are not the same. Therefore, even if we know that the ratio of x to y is 6:7, we can't actually figure out what the ratio of x plus 4 to y plus 4 equals. There's no answer to this question. You can only change ratios if you multiply them or divide them. But if you add or subtract from a ratio, you don't know what the new ratio is going to be.